So, friends, welcome to the fourth quarterfinal here in the ShenAiXie Cup. $20,000 Arabia-only tournament. And both these players got here by beating some fantastic names. We had Andy beating Tata 4-2 in the round of 16. We had Sebastian beating Leary 4-2 in the round of, the round of 16. Now, I said this about Andy because Sebastian is such a talent and so fast and so aggressive and really so good on open maps. I said that if Andy can have the closed maps with the big woodlines, which the Arabia generation they're using for this can give you, I think it could be really good for him. And he's got some massive woodlines with the cumin. So he goes for a risky pick, hoping he would get this type of map, and he gets it, guys. This is actually a map where you might be able to consider the second TC on Arabia. Sebastian will not be happy to see how big these woodlines are. They're using the ladder version of Arabia, so when you're playing ranked Arabia as well, this can happen. I'd say about like 30% of the time you can get the bigger woodlines. And then the rest of the time it tends to be a little bit more open. So he doesn't have to go for the second TC, but I feel like that is something that you want to take advantage of if you pick this Civ. Otherwise, why pick it? And it does make Sebastian's job a little bit more difficult because it's not just going to be Feudal Army versus Feudal Army now. He might need to change his approach a little bit. Ethiopians for Sebastian can be awesome, especially with his archer play. I expect a lot of that this series. And we'll kind of see how it goes from here. But, yeah, going to stay on top of things, drink my tea. Thank everyone for being here. Hope you guys have had a nice day so far. Everyone on YouTube, hope you enjoy this series. I hope this series is a little bit more competitive than the previous series. What I love about this series is that we have two very different styles. Sebastian, known for a lot of aggression and a lot of army. And then FreakinAndy, maybe the player amongst the top 16 who tries to get by with as little army as possible. Always going for the greedy approach. And there's a world where maybe Sebastian, because of this Civ matchup, maybe changes his whole approach here and tries to head to Castle Age or something. But sometimes against the Cumans, you'll see players consider doing that. But I predict the second TC. And I predict the TC will be... do you put it here? This would be the dream. You're on the wood line and then on the gold. That's probably good. But if you think you need tower defense or want to drop a castle, this could also be really good. And if you place the TC here, it also protects the wood line you're already on. Okay, do you guys think it's going to be option 1 on the wood and the gold? Option 2 on the wood and the stone? Option 3 on the back gold and wood? Or option 4, he doesn't build a second TC in Feudal Age at all? Sobek is close to the stone for sure. Sobek kind of knows what he's talking about. Sobek, did you play in this tournament? You probably did, right? He probably played in the quali at least. I am going with the stone option because if you build the TC here, you then have all this exposed. I think it makes life way easier to build the TC. What did I say? Option 2. That way it's protecting the rest of your eco. And then you hope to be able to take gold later on. Option 5, forward TC. No, I don't think that's going to happen here. But yeah, I'd kind of be annoyed right now if I were Sebastian. I mean, he doesn't see just how good this map is for Andy, but Andy, hold on. Someone said option 5. He's going for a barracks. So Andy's not instantly going for the TC. Now, he might just go for the barracks and the TC. But he won't be able to build the TC right away because he's gone for the barracks. Just some giant freaking wood lines. And Sebastian doesn't know where Andy is even right now. It's going to be a scout opening from Andy. Okay. All right, well, it might be a hybrid option because I think he will still attempt the second TC, but humans, you never really know. I thought I knew, and I'm really surprised. Like, I think this is as good a scenario for the instant TC as you're ever going to get. But he feels like, even for him, that could be a little bit too greedy. There goes Sebastian. Sebastian thinking about laming. Has the militia back here fighting off a lion. No man-at-arm upgrade for him. He's wondering, can he get value? Where's the TC? He wonders. He sees the berries now. The militia are looping around. He doesn't see the TC yet. And out of nowhere... Oh, he still doesn't see... Oh, he sees the second scout, and now he knows that Andy is actually going for scouts. Now, Andy has not scouted his opponent's opening at all. And he's chasing this. And right now, Sebastian's thinking, okay, if I lure him away, he might think I've just opened with archers here. And I can catch him out off guard. And here we go. And here are the man-at-arms. And the wall's denied. More walls are needed. And the TC's on the way up. So, I don't know. Is this option 6? Option 2? It's a combination of all the options. But this could lead to many dead villagers if Andy isn't careful. And oh, he misclicks. He misclicks. I think, honestly, Sebastian will take just one villain and be happy with it. Yeah, Sebastian kills that one villain. He'll be happy with it. And now what you do, as now Andy has to be careful here, is you try and get your archers and spearmen here to hold this position. Sebastian quick walls. And Sebastian has the spears ready. Beautiful play from Sebastian so far. Again, it's tricky against the Cumans, but Sebastian's always going to be thinking more and more aggression. And Andy has no answer to this. The scouts haven't accomplished a whole lot. Here comes the archers and here comes the spearmen. Oh, man. It's so funny. 5 minutes ago, I'm thinking this is going to be great for the Cumans. And now I'm staring at this position and I just hate it. It's like, Sebastian has gotten such a nice position. Like, Andy marketing to buy food, but he can only buy food after selling stone? Dang. He's also got... I guess he needs to go for a tower here, but now he doesn't have the stone. This is so awkward, man. But he's got a tower. You got to drop that tower. You got to drop it fast, and you need to secure as much space as possible. Behind this, scouts are still out and about. Haas official, welcome to the stream. Another official is here. Crazy. Fletching's on the way now for Sebastian. Sebastian is tied on Vils right now. So he hasn't fallen too far behind yet. I think when you have your eco advantage based around having 8 on stone and then selling stone to buy food, you're in a really rough spot. That's not what you want. It's just not very efficient. But it's the only way that he can keep his TCs working, so Andy just kind of... He's stuck here. He can't change his situation now. So he has to do this. Didn't end up going for any towers, actually. Which I guess is good, right? Like, a tower here doesn't actually do too much. He can still take everything he needs. Yeah, as long as you had the mill at one point, you can still make farms. You just can't farm without ever building a mill. Unless you're Khmer, of course. Good resources here for Sebastian as he thinks about Castle Age. Man, Sebastian's just making so much army. There's going to be a point, though, where Sebastian will drop a market. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't sell his stone in this scenario. I think he'll still sell his stone. Buy some food. You want to reach Castle Age fast to punish this even further, so... Forward castle would be sick, but I don't know if it really makes a lot of sense for the Ethiopians. If you had a unit out of the castle that you could get excited about, then I could see a forward castle. God, look at this, though. Look at all the stone that was sold just to buy food. Crazy that Andy has had to do that. And here comes Sebastian now. It's crazy how much he's accomplished without having actually killed too much this game. That's also a credit to how well Andy has played. The fact that Andy hasn't lost all that much. There we go. Andy's going to lose a Vil on this side, but he does kill an Archer on the other side. And Sebastian, still good control. Kills the Scout. Great micro. And there's the market we're all expecting. He is kind of setting himself up nicely with some walls as well. Just for later on. Great Archer players will do just this, guys. They'll see the skirms and they say, okay, where's your armor, bud? Where's your upgrades? You're not going to get your upgrades, huh? Okay, I stay. And then you're going to see a player in this position scramble down the blacksmith, and then they've got to sink themselves deeper and deeper into Feudal Age to try and deal with this. And in Andy's case, like, he has really used this market. So if he loses this market, this is bad. Seems to me like he is going to lose this market. Maybe a small counterattack could do something for Andy. But Sebastian's protected. Sebastian has spears. Sebastian could be walled. Sebastian didn't sell off all of his stone either. So if he wants to push, still potential. But the boom is also an option. And honestly, like on a closed map, you absolutely have to punish. You have to kill. But you've killed 2 Vils. Your opponent was really all over the place with their eco. I think you can just add the second TC in Castle Age and then just harass with crossbows. I don't think you need a siege push here. Market goes down. It's funny how important that is, especially in this type of scenario. It's important enough where Andy might actually make another market, which is kind of crazy. Nice pokes there from the spear. That's something. Andy really needs this gold. Andy hops out. Now he has upgrades. He just got fletching. Still no armor, though. And here, Andy's little counterattack won't accomplish much. Sebastian just ignoring it for the most part as he brings the rest of his archers forward. This spear is also sitting on this gold. So he knows right now that it is extremely awkward for FreakinAndy when it comes to gold. And this is this small detail a lot of people won't do. I think is really smart thinking. Castle Age on the way. Let's see. Does he bring a Vil? No Vil forward. Crossbow and Bodkin are on the way. Andy's in trouble, man. He's just in trouble. He's not going to be able to take gold. I think he needs to drop a tower or something, but now it's too late. And now his skirms will not be good enough. And he does still have the villager lead, and it's pretty substantial. However, eventually he needs to click up to Castle H. And he still needs an answer for these crossbows. Behind this, Sebastian adds a knight, drops the second TC. Sebastian's looking really strong right now. Guys, when I saw Sebastian play in the Hidden Cup qualifiers, I thought he was actually going to make a deep run. And then he was out for the Alpaca and Hidden Cup, if you remember. And then I saw shakiness in the main event. I'm like, okay, there's nerves, makes sense. Player who's new to like the top 16 is gonna have those nerves. Then Warlords, there was no shakiness, right? He was smooth, he was comfortable, he was third place. Now in this tournament, he's looked like an absolute beast. Remember, he beat Leary, 4-2 in the previous round, and now he goes up here against Andy. I mean, it is just so smooth and comfortable there for him. I will say this. Long series, the very last pick for Andy. Andy took a risk. I think Andy feels as though he needed to try something different. This isn't his best civ. This isn't his best strategy here for the series, you would hope. So I do think maybe if you have a map like this, you just got to YOLO the TC down, honestly. Like, I think I would have preferred it. But if that gets punished, I probably would then be saying, I think you need to actually make military because it's Arabia. So, kind of tricky. Kind of tricky. When someone loses, their strategy always looks bad. So, whoa! Same resources collected to the number. What in the world? 9,791 resources collected from both. Beautiful stuff. We're probably not going to see that for a while. So we got game 2. We got Malians for Sebastian. We got FreakinAndy playing as the Hindustanis. Okay, now I'm going to ask. Do you guys know the wow mom thing? Where you would like, I don't know who showed it to me. I was like 8 years old. I thought it was so funny. Where you'd like open your mouth in the shape of an O. And then you do W's with 3 fingers on either side. You go, wow. And then you turn your hands over, go, mom. Did anyone else ever do that? Or was that just me and my weird childhood? Anyone know what I'm talking about? Okay, a lot of people think this is weird. Yeah, it was just a thing. We thought it was funny. Wow, mom. We'd like say wow. And then we do the W's with 3 fingers on one side, and then and we turn it over and do the M. No, but I'm gonna start doing that. You're probably like 28. Don't start doing that. People are gonna judge you at work, okay? Oh God, Andy into the TC. But yeah, when I was like 5 or 6, don't judge me now, you know. Anyways, we got Malians, Hindustanis, really big civs actually. And I think Andy will continue to take risks in this series. I think he needs to take risks against a player like Sebastian. Sebastian will know one of his pigs was actually stolen, not both. As for which civ I prefer here, I think in the early game, I prefer the Malians. The longer the game goes, the better it gets for Hindustanis. I think if Hindustanis get to Imp Camel, Malians really have no answer. Well, that might not be true. Maybe the Gabetto is something they could consider. But yeah, both of these civilizations are top tier for Arabia. Map here is a little bit more open than the previous generation. So it should be more suited for aggression. And Sebastian has now just continued forward to try and give Andy some problems. And I think knows that this villager was going to build something here or was going to take the boar. And Andy, taking no risks, is going to bring another vill out. But Andy's scout is weak because he ran into that TC earlier, so. Yeah, that's one of those things that you guys are probably very confused by if I bring it up. But I asked because I was curious if a couple other people remember. And a couple other people remember from growing up. Like, a lot of people have some weird things from their childhood. You just don't know how far the weirdness extends, you know? Like, here's a new one. So I played this game as a kid, right? It's kind of a city builder game. You start with a couple vills, and you just kind of expand an empire from there, you know? And you collect resources to go kill other people's villages. It's pretty wild. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's called it's kind of like Clash of Clans, you know? That's what, anytime I tell someone, like I meet someone new, like, well, what do you do for a living? Well, actually, I'm a video game commentator. Really? What game? Age of Empires. They're like, is that like Clash of Clans? Like, no, it's not like Clash of Clans. That's what everyone says. And for whatever reason, if they don't even say that, everyone's always like, oh, I know Age of Empires. I'm like, no, you don't. I feel like half the people don't know. Depends on their age, though. Look what Sebastian's done. Like, he really was annoying with that scout. He didn't accomplish a ton. He killed a pig. He stole a pig. But he did also weaken Andy's scout. Tell me Andy put that on auto scout. Is that auto? That's not auto. That's manual. Okay. Using auto scout at this stage doesn't make a whole lot of sense in my opinion. AoE is for us old people. How old are you watching, viewer? How old are you? What's your age? ASL. 33, 25, 37, 41, 16? All right. 26, 6. Someone's name was D's Nuts and they said they were 6. You have the emotional age of 6. Okay, a lot of people, 20s, 30s, 40s. Yeah, I have the analytics. I have the data on it. I know my viewers, you know? Peroxide Lobster, thank you for the 7 months. Welcome back. So Andy's up much faster than Sebastian here. And that's pretty good for him to get the ball rolling. Sebastian's come home. And he's going to go to gold, so it seems like archers is going to be the play from him again. We have a stable from Andy. Andy wants to go for scouts, which is more than fine with the Hindustanis. He's just trying to push in this deer, which is causing him problems. But he should be able to push that in. Scouts for map control could be great. Eventually, you're going to need some skirms if it is an archer opening from Sebastian. And Sebastian already thinking about walling up. There's going to be a lot of that this series. I think because Sebastian feels like he can kill an early Castle Age. And FreakinAndy feels like he can boom an early Castle Age. Both of these guys always thinking about that. Sebastian comes forward, confirms it's going to be scouts. It's not near as worrying, though. Oh! Oh, that's huge. Somehow that spear didn't get an extra hit. A scout rush isn't as worrying initially if you know the starting scout is weak. And Andy's just pushing in the deer. That's crazy. But he doesn't know the opening for Sebastian yet. Again, I think Sebastian may be expecting not to get a lot of damage done here. Because he's just walling up spears, archers, taking his time. Someone says I'm definitely post-imp. You're not post-imp. What age are you post-imp? I feel like we're like early Castle Age, guys. We got to decide what we do with our lives, you know? Are we booming? Are we all out? Some people, you know, the real thrill seekers out there, they're the all-in 1 TC type players. There's other people who are using the market way too much, and eventually the prices are going to be horrible. And they're going to regret now having no economy, right? Some people, they had like a better upbringing, so they started with 6 vills in the Dark Age, right? But you know how it is. Some people start with everything, and they take it for granted, and then they have a lot of idle TC time. Because, yeah, they started with 6 vills. They didn't know how to use the 6 vills. Because, you know, everything was just given to them. They didn't have to make the vills. Some people are having a nomad start, you know? Some people are housed. And, you know, some people are unaware of any counters to any units and just simply make one of everything. Which is, you know, might be a good approach. Who knows? The scouts here for Andy, hoping to break through. And they will not break through. They spot the archers, though. So, yeah. Seems like a pretty boomy game. But early Castle Age is still the name of the game here. Where, I mean, with Malians, the ballistic timing with crossbows can be really, really tough for people to stop. Because Elite Skirm costs a lot. It's also, you need armor as well for skirms to be successful. And it takes longer for Elite Skirmisher to finish. So basically, you have like a really solid window with crossbow. And then the Malian University upgrades research faster, so. But yeah, it seems like Sebastian is content. He's like, all right, you're going to play with walls. More walls than me. He's gone for the big walls. Sebastian just says, all right, I'm going to sit at home then. I adapt to you. Come show me what you've got here. And with the market going up, wouldn't surprise me to see the stone being sold. Bit of market shenanigans. And Andy coming forward right now. Andy's scouting has been a little off this game. Obviously, earlier he took some losses, which makes sense because he almost lost a scout. But like, he didn't. I don't think he's fully expecting what Sebastian is doing right now. He didn't know that Sebastian was full walled. He tried to just run around there to get some intel. That gets sniped. Having said that, though, his eco's still looking pretty solid. The big issue for him is gold. I'm surprised he chose to take this gold. You could easily take this gold, which he did scout. Decap, welcome back. Little bit sick, but everything's good, Decap. First time you've watched the channel in a while, apparently. Nice to have you, man. Man, guys, it feels so good to be back. Like I said at the start of the stream, like, the last 2 weeks, I was supposed to be just grinding and just casting and, you know, and then I just got sick, you know? And, Today's been pretty good. Today's been pretty good. I can't complain. Not going to push it too much today. We already have people saying, call me games. You know, I'm not going to push it. Because I don't want, you know, things to get too crazy. But I think I should be pretty good from here on out. If anything, it feels like the sleeping is an issue for me right now. Because that's when the coughing ramps up. But so, skirms are on the field for Andy. 4 of them are over here, though. So they're not really in a position to catch this. And I get it. You know, in Andy's position, you want to do damage with your army. But also at the same time, I think you have to try and prevent this army from moving forward. At least until they're in Castle Age. Sleep elevated. I did try. I tried to, like, sleep like a sloth last night. I kind of, like, hung from a random branch in my backyard. Didn't work. I just fell asleep and I fell. Fell to the ground. But yes, it was recommended that I sleep on an incline. And that could potentially help the coughing. We'll see. Double range from Andy. He knows what to expect. He doesn't know where the army is. But he's still posing a very small threat here. Actually, this villager could go down pretty quickly for Sebastian. He's got to be careful. He's focused on the push right now. And Andy didn't fully house wall here, so that could be an area to break. But Andy's on this gold, so that's where Sebastian wants to go. Sebastian actually saves that vill and is sending a knight around to deal with that. And is now on the gold. Andy got really badly housed here. I noticed he couldn't produce skirms for a bit. No crossbow upgrade yet for Sebastian is a big surprise here, but I think he's a little distracted by this. Still pulling the weak vills away. He apparently lost a vill at one point. Did we miss Sebastian losing a villager to a wolf or a boar or something? I think, and maybe you guys spotted it, but probably missed that. And Sebastian sees the amount of skirms, realizes if he dives in, that it will eventually be elite skirm for Andy. But you know what's crazy here is he doesn't know that Andy doesn't have the resources for elite skirm. You always assume your opponent has that research on the way, but Andy lucks out there. He should be able to have the time to do that. And so second TC now for Sebastian. The crossbow timing didn't necessarily do it. But he's also coming forward with siege and with knights. And he still doesn't see elite skirm yet. How much age do you watch when you're sick? The only time I'm never not paying attention to Age of Empires most of the day is when I'm on vacation. That's when I, like, fully shut off. But if I stream 8 hours, record videos for 2 hours, I'm still watching Age of Empires that night. I'm always watching something. It's fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, just a very big addiction that I have and happen to benefit from. And no elite skirm! And you know, the community benefits as well. So to answer your question, I watched most of this tournament, even though I couldn't cast it. But it was like, I wasn't watching like I do when I cast, which is every single second and like really analyzing deeply. I was just kind of like checking in and out. Like yesterday, I paused. So I queued up for a game. I got a game, but I was watching John Slow try and win a hilarious Trebor. So I paused. I said, 1 sec, watching John Slow Trebor. And my opponent said, no problem, me too. And we both sat there. We both watched John Slow lose the Trebor. We laughed, and we started our game. That actually happened yesterday. Because he tried to fast him Trebor against Byzantines. I was like, what are you doing, bro? And he had 5 vills forward repairing his Trebs, and then he said 15 more vills forward. And it's just so funny. I love the guy to death. It's just so funny. 3 TCs for Andy. Really good TC positions. The siege push is going to be a problem, though. Like, he is playing pure defense. I think he does know the siege is coming, though, because of the presence of the forward houses. What's going on here? No, don't attack the bear. The bear's attacking the spear, lady. All right. Here comes the siege. Big, big pressure. This is what Andy's good at, though, right? Like, he booms, he defends, and then he finds an answer. But when you find out it's a siege push after there's 3 mangonels here, this is really tricky. These bears are hungry. Oh, no. They got him cornered. They got him cornered. Oh, no. And the bears get their meal. Listen, guys, don't go wandering around with your spears during cub season. I mean, come on. Do some research. Sebastian knows there could be siege on the way. He sees it now. Great job from him to notice that. I mean, the way his siege are stacking, it might be a little too risky to continue this push like this. Yeah, I think if you clear out the range, you can spread out your mangonels a bit more. But it is just crazy aggression. And you look away once. Oh my god, he just split mangonels like they were crossbows. And he... Oh, how did he not get the kill there? What? He gets the kill there. That was weird. I kind of feel like Andy's fine. I mean, it doesn't seem fine maybe, but if he could just drop a castle without taking more losses, he can go for golems, and golems could be really solid against crossbow and siege. He's still on 3 TCs. He still has pretty good economy here. Sebastian should really have more initiative with the push, but he's scared because he knows he can lose his whole push with one shot from Andy. And Andy's good enough to command that respect. Sebastian sees this, he loses it, and it's just another reason to be worried now. And suddenly, FreakinAndy starting to breathe a little bit. What I'd love to see from Andy, from what we can see, from what we know, castle, and then like a 4th TC, and just go for a crazy greed. Maybe that's not the play. I would have loved... I mean, Sebastian's backing up with this army, man. It's such a strong army. I would have loved to see the castle more forward, but he's really concerned. If he would have built the castle where his siege is right now, he's in the dream scenario. But the dream scenario, not going to be the case here. Just 2 town centers for Sebastian. Might add the 3rd one soon, but he's just gone for a lot of army. And he knows there's a castle now. I like the vision that the buildings will give him, but... is he able to pressure now that there's so much defensive military? Hindustanis kind of have an answer for everything. They have the camels for the knights. They have the golems for the archers. They have cheap vills for eco. So, what Andy doesn't know, though, is that his opponent has +2 knights. Maybe he expects it, though. Maybe he does, because he's making some camels. He's paying close attention here. Here goes Andy to snipe some of the siege. He'll certainly snipe this one. He backs away from these. He's going to push in here. Oof. This could be a nice position to push from. It's tough to reinforce, but it's doable if you just still have 4 mangonels. Can we talk about how Andy has only lost 5 villagers this game, though? He does such a good job. Has a 20 villager lead. But it could all fall apart because of Sebastian's aggression. And Sebastian's got some crazy numbers. This is going to be a massive fight here. Can Andy defend from this? He has his own siege, but the siege could be picked off by the knights. He's running in a little early. Oh, he gets a good hit. That's not bad. Sebastian still has his siege. Sebastian hits the skirms. The camels dive in as well. The camels will die to the crossbows behind. Sebastian's got so much firepower. The golems coming in now too. They have the armor. The golems will snipe the siege. The TC stays up for Andy. And Andy, well, he's not out of the woods yet. The knights are still an issue. The crossbows are still an issue. There's still army next to his TC. The TC, I mean, could go down to the knights at this point. Sebastian just keeps coming. Every time he keeps coming. And he's even repairing the TC. He doesn't want to lose this. The push itself, fantastic. What really sets Sebastian apart from a lot of others right now is the fact that he also has this. There's not many players that can also have the eco. But also, you know, in Andy's case, there's not many players that only lose 5 vills to all of this. Like, that is really something special. And here comes Sebastian with a group of vills. And he is going to drop a castle right there. And he's on his way to imp. Crazy. Andy's done everything he can to stabilize and keep his vills alive. And then yet again, Sebastian's ready with that next killer blow. Sebastian is amazing. Again, like, Hidden Cup, qualifiers, he didn't lose a single game. But then in the main event, a little bit shaky. The shakiness, there's a lot of talented players that show that in tournaments. So it's like, getting past that is really tough. Some people never do. Some people just always have it, and they're really good. Warlords, zero doubt in his mind. Every single time he played a game, it was just cutthroat. And I was like, whoa. Against really good players. And then this event, it's the same. He's just so good. And Andy making a mad dash here to take this gold because he feels like this gold could be a problem. That's actually a big issue for him, isn't it? He's running out of gold in his base. The army for Andy is all kind of counterable by knights, honestly. Because, Gulum show up. Because, you know, there's not many camels. But you never really, big shot there from Andy. You never really feel natural making a lot of knights against the Hindustanis because they can just switch into camels. But I do think these 13 knights bring a lot of value for Sebastian right now. And lots of reasons to be scared taking those engagements. Gebetto on the field now for Sebastian. But he should go for Trebs here, I would say. He's choosing not to go for Trebs. He's going to use the castle for Gebetto production instead. Surprising. But he feels like he needs them. Adding ranges behind, getting chemistry, which he's going to have right away. And yeah, okay, I guess when you research chemistry that fast, you can also just go for bombard cannons. Would still like to see one Treb with a follow-up of bombard cannons, though. Andy's camels will not accomplish much. Like, they cannot take this fight and win it. But they do distract, at least. And Andy's been able to find himself this gold. He's got a lot of villagers on gold now. He's got lots of villagers on food. He's got a good situation. Camels did all go down, though. That hurts. And Cavalier also completes now. Skirms also aren't very good against Gebetto. If the Gebettos are upgraded. The Gebettos are not upgraded right now. I think for Sebastian, the Gebettos are just there for camels. And then the Cavalier is still like kind of the key. And Cavalier will be there to deal with the skirms. Hindustani gunpowder is also extremely strong. Much stronger than anything the Malians can offer. But you have to get there. And Sebastian just pouncing here on these skirms. It's a good engagement for him. He does have a trep and he does have a cannon. And Andy needs to be careful. Also, Sebastian has to be careful not to lose his cannon to the castle. But it looks like he's got it. He's taking good fights here, guys. If he pays attention, Andy's treb will go down. This is just so much pressure, but Andy's still able to hold somewhat. Andy didn't realize his treb is exposed. His treb goes down. It's Cavalier Gebetto against Skirm Camel right now. Sebastian going to take another fight. There's still a lot of ranged units out here for Andy. His Vil count's still really good. It's hard to kill off the Hindustanis. But all the gold that Andy's taking is kind of on screen, right? So, like, if he loses one big fight, he loses the game. He has to continually win fights. He also has no stone. So he can't really repair. And Sebastian's going to drop a castle here. Kind of in the middle of the battle, but it's a battle he knows he's going to win. And with that confidence, takes the game. Andy has nothing left. The Gebetto and the Cavalier were in solid numbers. They're getting really good value. And yeah, it was mainly skirms there from Andy. And while you do have the options, you do have the camels, you do have the gunpowder, you have all these things, FreakinAndy just didn't have the freaking time there. A GG there, and Sebastian takes another one. That, again, was another situation where it kind of fell into Andy's strengths. I felt like the first game, he had a good map for his Civ to try something different. This game, he had a nice boom. He had the walls down. The fact that Sebastian was able to pressure like he did, have it not take out any TCs, and then still beat the opponent's imp, and still get all these upgrades and snag the relics is just crazy. The kid's insane. By the way, we talked about like how old people were. We had that discussion. So for me, I'm 31, right? So what I'm about to say, like for a while, would just blow my mind. Sebastian was born in 2002. Okay, he's 22. 22's, you know, he's not as young, not as young as he used to be, but still born in 2002. It makes a lot of people who were born in like the 90s or before go, oh, 2002. I remember what I was doing in 2002. I remember where I was. All right. Well, there might be one poor soul out here who's tired of seeing horses and camels, you know? Maybe they're archer player. I don't know. And they're sick of seeing all the horse spam. Well, guess what? We will have no horses in this game. We've got the Incas versus the Mayans. Sebastian in the blue. Looking really strong. And Andy, he's in the red. And win or lose, I think Andy understands. He just simply has to shake things up. And being the Mayans, you do always research Loom at the start. He's bringing the Eagle forward, and he's bringing his Vil forward. He's found the stone. His opponent should be close by. And he wants to lame this. And Sebastian actually has brought in the Rhino early, just in the nick of time. He didn't know that his opponent would be there. But in Tournament Age of Empires, I've been screaming it for years. You got to take your forward Rhinos early. Or your boars. Still could be an issue, though. He has no Loom, and there's going to be a villager around. And he loses the goat there. But there's no sound notification when you lose a goat. It's only when you gain a goat. And now he sees the Vil as well, and he's like, huh? Andy could try some pretty crazy stuff here with this Rhino if he wants to. So you have to be really careful if you're Sebastian. You have to deal with this. So yeah, he's probably going to wall his villager in. And after walling his Vil in, he wants to... Oh! Yo, that is so good! Sebastian uses his Eagle to bring the Rhino in. He doesn't even give Andy the opportunity. Wow. Now he still is the weak Vil here. That is so smart. Dude. That's just so smart. You don't give your opponent the opportunity for the lame. I'm not sure about the weak villager here. That's kind of an issue. But I guess Sebastian could wall this villager in. So he got his villagers on wood. He got his rhinos. What's the situation right now for Andy? Andy does know where most of his resources are. Oh, no, he doesn't. He doesn't have 4 goats because of this. So Andy is harassing, but it does come at a cost, right? I think most people who play the game... I think one thing that's similar about people who like found Age of Empires, as we now have a pause, is a lot of people remember it from childhood. And you could still remember it from childhood if you're like 22, if you're Sebastian, right? If you have like older siblings or something. Or not even, right? The game came out in like 99, right? So if you're like 3 when this game came out. I guess in my case, I didn't actually play the game when I was super young. I played it when I was like 11, 10, 11. But yeah, pause here. Villagers trapped. Building a house here. Which is kind of interesting. Dark Age houses actually go down very quickly. There is a chance that at some point, as Andy continues to be a quick wall nerd, that this house goes down and it kind of hurts Andy. But yeah, we're sorry, the game's lagging now after the pause. But yeah, that villager's just chilling there. And the eagle for Andy's going to go home and check the dark spots. And he will find those goats. It looks like maybe Sebastian will find these goats. Okay, so the question you have to ask after all of this is, was it worth it? Thoughts? Was this worth it here for FreakinAndy? Or did it come at a cost? I personally think it wasn't like... It might be in between. It wasn't the most successful lane ever, but it wasn't horrible either. The villager's still here playing a role. He's still, like, his own build wasn't affected that much. You're Mayans, right? So you've one Vil walking forward, but then you're still going to have, like, the extra Vil later on. So, I don't think it was too bad. And he's certainly really good at it. So he can just continue to, you know, quick wall and make life awkward for Sebastian if he wants to. I cannot tell you how important it is to me. Why is Sebastian not up yet, by the way? It's weird to me he's not up. I cannot stress to you how important it is to me that this house gets battered down. Because players very rarely pre-build houses expecting to lose one. And Dark Age houses go down so fast. Nothing happening yet. And uh-oh, this is a problem. Quick wall, not a problem. How do they do that, man? Oh God, relatable experience. Oh no, help! I have fallen and I cannot quick wall. Dead. Okay, well, as my capture age lags again for whatever reason, I gotta talk to them about that. Villager's dead. And now, if you were to ask, is it worth it? I think that villager's family would say no. But it was his choice to go forward. He wasn't forced to do that. Mill on the deer ends up being pretty good here for Sebastian. He's going to move over to the golds. Looks like the plan will be archers. Same deal here for Andy. But Andy bringing 2 Vils forward again. And maybe he can just feel that he's just being outplayed, right? And he just... I literally said at the start of the series, it's going to have to be a creative one. If it's a normal Arabia game, Sebastian is the favorite here. Last time these two played each other was Hidden Cup qualifying, where Sebastian beat him 3-0. And I remember then when Sebastian then qualified without losing a game, Andy said to me, he's like, my 3-0 doesn't look too bad now, huh? You remember, he felt like it was really unfortunate he matched up against Sebastian when he did in that qualifying bracket. Range is going to be on the front here for Andy. Interesting choice. But he's bringing the aggression yet again. Lost a Vil, lost his Eagle. Let's see how Sebastian deals with it this time. And the archer range will be up much faster here for Andy because of this. Now, I like how Sebastian has just taken this gold instead of the forward gold. And I like the walls on the sides, but this in an if you're both making Archer Eagle, being faster to the Archer Eagles certainly a big deal. That seems to be the combo, at least for now. T90, I heard you were sick. Either way, good to see you. Hey, good to be back, man. Yeah, I'm still a little sick, but feeling better. Thanks for showing up. Parsifal, welcome. Zlotto, welcome. Thank you, guys. I won't be casting community games for TCC today, guys. Just, I got YouTube content back on schedule, so we have some fun upload tonight. This next week and a half, we'll have some really good games that I've stocked up. And I just don't want to push it too far. 2 full best of 7 should be pretty good for the day. Can Sebastian see this? Wow, Sebastian actually can see that. And that's the only area he's taking wood right now. That's pretty crazy. Oh, but he can see the palisades. Ooh, and he might react with a counter tower. I think you just do that even if you notice it late. Welcome back from Facebook, T90. Thanks. It's been a minute. So he didn't notice this. There's a weak Vil there from before. Well, Sebastian focusing on the fights, surely he's going to notice this. And yeah, this is what a lot of people do, and I think it works for 2 reasons. The first reason, which should be obvious to everyone by now, tower fire and TC fire just not very accurate. So you could just kind of... You're not as at risk of losing Vils right away if you move from side to side. The other reason is it's only 2 Vils that built the tower, and so they can't win the tower war against you. Where it works, though, and you can kind of seeing it already, is that these vills can't take wood for a while. So you do force the player onto straggler trees. And they're also trying to do everything else at the same time. But, of course, because it's Sebastian, Sebastian has done everything else pretty nicely here. The regroup kind of hurts him there. Andy saves the weak eagle and puts it in the TC. But nice army control, at least right now, for Sebastian. I don't hate Andy's position, though. The two vills will still survive for now. What is happening with my capture age? This is super weird. I gotta message them. They updated it yesterday? I know I cringe with Windows updates. Or Age of Empires updates. Wondering what the pathing is gonna be like this time. But I guess capture age maybe, I don't know. Maybe they tweaked something. Yeah, capture age is a little sick as well today, I guess. If the caster's sick, capture age is sick. Sebastian is sick, but in a positive sense. Oh, man. He finds this. He knew it'd be here. And, oh, he's letting the lion get the kill. Give the lion the kill. Give the lion the kill. Ah, well, now the lion's going to kill you, fool. I mean, Andy probably would have quick-walled that, so you can't mess around too much. And Andy with the sneak army on this side. This is good. He knows the army is on the other side, killing his vills, so he's got to do something. And nice job from Andy. Again, your Mayans, you start with the extra vill, so being down one in the eco KD is not too bad. And he's blocking, and he's going to kill another villager. 2-2 on the eco KD. Well, 3-2 on the eco KD. So that was really nice. And you know what Andy has not been is disrupted at all economically. It feels weird to say that after he lost vills, but that's because he sent the vills forward, right? So his farms are okay, his gold's okay, his wood, everything's kind of been untouched. Army numbers are similar. And this feels like a very natural spot for this to turn into eagles for both players. Having said that, there's 7 eagles for Sebastian right now. He's actually on 2 barracks already. And Andy only has 4. And oh, he had a weak vill on the farm there. That got sniped by Sebastian. Crazy. You could definitely tell Andy right now, he wants to go up to Castle Age and win this with eagles. But like, you're not usually expecting to be up against 11 eagles plus all these skirms this early. Oh no, Andy trying to come home. Sebastian knows he's there. Sebastian finds him again. And Sebastian will kill these ranged units. Not that they would have really accomplished too much at this point anyways, but still, just more and more army, more and more control for him as Andy is now on the way to Castle Age. Okay, so Andy's on 1 barracks making eagles. He's going to drop the second now. Can he make enough eagles to fight this back? I mean, Sebastian hasn't clicked up yet. And he's not that close. If they were on the way, both on the way to Castle Age, this game is completely done and dusted. But, you know, maybe you can leave this gold. Oh, you can't lose the barracks, though. You got to complete the barracks. Oh, no. I think maybe leave this gold, head over to this gold, hope for the best is the best thing I can suggest. And he trying to quick wall to save what he can as he loses this fight. He does save the villager. It's just, guys, Sebastian's he's just a level higher right now. No other way to say it. No matter what you send his way, he's just amazing. And again, my favorite to win this tournament. After we saw some of the other results, right? Sebastian knocked out Leary. Mihai knocked out Viper. Sito knocked out Hera. Vivi knocked out Yo. A lot of the other favorites that one might have for an Age of Empires 2 tournament just got knocked out. Kato got knocked out by Andy. So all the favorites are gone. Who's your new favorite? Right now, Vinchester looked amazing. He's in the 1 semi. We saw him play. Toe, of course, fantastic performance yesterday against Hera. Maybe it's just recency bias because we're looking at this game right now, but man, is Sebastian good. He's not up to Castle Age, though. And Eagles, once you make it to Castle, you don't need an upgrade for the 7 base attack. That's a big jump. So he has that. Eagles will be much stronger for now. Andy has 7 with 3 barracks queuing up more. The production's also faster. Starting in... ooh, nice save. The production is also faster starting in Castle Age, so it's easier to catch up. Double range here for Sebastian. He's probably thinking about slingers. I gotta say, it looked rough there for Andy, but ever since he hit Castle Age, this army is terrified and can't engage. And there's a hole there, which has just been plugged. But, you know, slingers alone might not be good enough if Andy also adds the siege here. And slingers are unique to Incas. It is one of the few unique units that you can make out of something other than a castle here. It's going to be slingers. With a combination of eagles still, this might loop right back into that gold. You see, I think right now, Andy is expecting that army from Sebastian to be in his base. If you look at Andy's perspective, that's the most natural thing. Because he's kind of been everywhere. No one's going to run to the corner and just chill there. But that's exactly what Sebastian did. Slingers now are slinging. A little David and Goliath action. And slingers wreck infantry. The problem would be is they're pretty garbage against everything else. Oh, man, there's the siege. Did Sebastian expect it? He loops in with the eagles. Sebastian, he's got the slingers. The siege now isn't a factor anymore. And the slingers can come out to play. And Andy's got to be like, where did he come from? He didn't loop from his base. If he looped from his base, he would have seen it. He came from the right side. And with any type of siege push, you really need the numbers. Ooh, Eagles actually got through here. These are Inca villagers, though, so they do have a little bit more armor to work with. One villager goes down. The other villagers survive. And he's still holding to this hill, and he needs to hold to this hill. That's the key here. Also, no Eagle Warrior upgrade. Feel like you got to get that, but maybe he just doesn't have the resources for it. Maybe, you know, in these aggressive games, you think you click it and you think the researcher's coming in, so it takes an extra minute for you to realize it's not. Scorpions can be good against infantry and also the slingers, but they're not that great against the eagles, and Sebastian happily just clicks through because he knows the slingers are going to be doing everything he needs as long as the siege is gone. Andy taking this fight just so he can kill off the eagles, just so this mangonel can pop out. But now Sebastian will know it's there, and he will know to pay attention. He just has to keep a close eye on this. Oh, he splits into the shot. The slingers get slung. And I guess, you know, there's still enough of them here. 2 more go down. But all that remains is still a couple eagles that will still get killed off. Could have been worse for Andy. That was good. He expected the amazing micro from Sebastian and attack grounded in one of the other areas, but still, the series remains all Sebastian. With that, the siege could no longer arrive, and Eagles, and only Eagles, cannot get the job done for Andy against the Incas. I know Andy's has lost these games. Still, for who he is, for how he plays, I actually think every game he's had a really good outlook on how to play it and how to approach it, both with his civs, both with his maps, and in this game, trying to make it messy, right? The thing is, Sebastian seems to be above that. Sebastian's consistency is just unmatched, and his level and his aggression is just fantastic. There was a moment here where there were maybe some worry because Eagle Mangonel could push, but that, you know, saving the army and swooping back in, it's just, he played the game like it was on all visible. Right? As all the best players do. There was never any surprises. He always dealt with the situation well. He's just playing out of this world. Andy's had a great series. Don't look at this and say Andy's underperformed. I really don't think he has. I think he's brought the same level that he brought against Tato when he beat Tato 4-2. So it's just Sebastian's playing great, and Sebastian's up 3-0 right now. So game number 4, and we've got Armenians for Sebastian against FreakinAndy's Gurjaras. Interesting. Remember, they're drafting for 7 games. You are going to have some civs that don't, you know, make you jump out of your seat. You've got, I think, 10 civs that are randomly banned. Then each player bans 2. Then you're picking 8. So, you know, you're going to have some civs, like Armenians, I think, that are solid at some things, but not, like, extremely well-rounded like maybe some of the other civs we've seen. I think Armenians are actually, they fall in that perfect category. For a land map, they're solid. They've got bonuses you can be happy with. Oh, my God, and Sebastian says no mercy! No mercy! You lay me, bro? I don't care I'm up 3-0. I'm going to make it 4. Go ahead. I love this. I think it's great. I really think it is. Like, obviously, we want more games. But Andy just, in the previous game, tried to lame him. You need that winner's mentality to just go for it. And you never know. It's, if anything, it's respecting the opponent, because the opponent is a damn good player who beat Tato. You got to take every advantage you can. And so he knew it would be that type of a game. He was rewarded going forward, seeing the Rhino. And zero hesitation, that Rhino goes back over to his base. And Andy knows about it, too. So that's an 800 food swing, if you think about it. Why is it called laming? Seems more like epicing. I think we're past the point where we can rename it. Laming goes way back. I don't know. It's always been laming. For, like, as long as I've been around, it's been laming. So I guess it was back when people used the word lame a lot more. Like, bro, that's lame, you know? I still say lame a lot, but I would love to make a video on that. I just don't know if there's like an old forum post or something where the lame origin started. And here goes Andy. Andy trying to counter lame now. And he's going to steal some goats. He sees the weak scout. I think Sebastian's like, is there something over here? Because I've scouted everything else. I don't have my goats. And he actually finds the goats. And we'll bring in his Rhino. He doesn't want to lose this scout. Camel scouts don't have bonus attack in Dark Age, so you can still take a fight and kind of be okay. He's trying to just chip away at that camel as much as possible. It's an interesting approach. Because his scout, Sebastian's scout, was always weak enough to not get a lot of value early feudal. And now Andy's scout is weaker too. So it's not bad. It's lame as into crippled. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, one who is crippled could also be referred to as lame. But one who decides to steal my food and win without skill is also a lame individual. So I guess you could kind of... There's 2 different meanings to lame. Listen. There's one thing I know about laming. I don't think it's said enough. Okay? If someone lames me, it's lack of skill. If I lame you, though, that's all skill on my part. Okay? That's how I see it. You lame me, though. No skill. You're scared of me. You're a coward. I lame you. It's just part of the game. That's just how it goes. So, I think that's just how the world works. It's kind of like the joke that people make. It's like, if I lose, you're a smurf. No. If I lose, it's a civ win. If I win, it's a skill win. Some people don't realize it, but they kind of see the game that way. Because a lot of people really struggle to accept that they were just outplayed, and they like to blame it on the civ. But they don't say that they won because of the civ, you know? Anyways, Sebastian's up. And the big thing for Armenians here is your mule cart upgrades are more efficient, which affects your wood and your gold. So it's a really good archer civ for that reason. They're also, I think the mule cart upgrades are cheaper too. So I remember talking to ACCM about it. ACCM thinks on an archer build, you should always get the gold mining and also the mule cart upgrade right away. And it's actually tricky because Capture Age doesn't show the gold mining upgrade for mule carts. So I will pay attention to that, unless they change that. Andy's going to go for archers back at home. Really good time to be up the feudal age without the boars. I think here is where you need to pull an extra sheep or two, though, out of the mill for those vills. Chris is dropping gifted subs. That's not lame. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for the warm welcome. I say warm welcome as if I haven't been here before. Let's give a warm welcome to T90, who's been here for 8 years. But, yeah, thank you. Good to be back. Hope we get more games. Hoping Andy can string something together here. We'll see. Muffin and Grunty First Aid. Welcome back, guys. So once the walls go down, 2 golds will be secured in here. Shoot, I didn't check to see if he got the gold mining upgrade. Does that show? No, it does show actually up there, top left. Okay, so he didn't get the gold mining upgrade. Obviously got the wood. And Sebastian went forward with his scout. Didn't actually see his opponents going for archers, though. So he added quite a few spears. I think if you had this many spears, you're expecting scouts, or your name is MBL. I saw MBL was in my chat. I don't know if he's still here. Maybe a slight exaggeration. I don't know if even MBL would add 3 spears against archers. I think he would stop at 2. And a couple walls come up from Sebastian. This is fine. I mean, a couple extra spears could be helpful later on. Not the end of the world. He's going to mix in some skirms now. And Andy knows it's a range opening. That's pretty much all he knows, but he knows Sebastian's going for a ranged opening too. And Andy has fletching already. Again, nice job from Andy. Man, I am shocked that when people play Gurjaras, they're not pulling out 2 to 3 sheep. I do that all the time. I feel it's way better than this. But then again, they're better than me, so I don't know. Oh, he also moved the mule cart off of gold and went to wood. That's really smart. Something you can only do with the mule cart, obviously. Because he wants more of a focus on wood and gold right now. This could be an issue for this Vill. I think there could be a hole. No hole. The skirms and archers are there. Andy's going to have to back away. And Andy saw there was skirms. Now, you know, if you're the Gurjaras, you could be thinking going into Travamshas against range units. Travamshas would be great against skirms. Against crossbows, they still could have their weaknesses if the crossbow mass is big enough. I personally think the Travamsha is kind of one of the most overrated units in Castle Age. If the opponent's walled and going archers, I rarely see the Travamsha do enough. It feels like the dodge disappears after, you know, the first volley or so, and then the Travamshas just don't have enough stats to hold up. Notice the difference. In previous games, Sebastian would have archers with fletching against skirms, and he would push it back, and he would manage things. Here, Sebastian has not gone for his own upgrades, and Andy is just terrified. And he's actually going to be trapped here. Sebastian thinks there's a gap here. He thinks that Andy's sneaking away, and he's like, wait a second, he must be back there. And Andy's going this way. I love it. That's funny, man. Sebastian thinks he's probably back here in the corner. But no, there go the archers. That's pretty nice for Andy. He's not going to complain about that, because he wants those archers in combination with other things later on. Sebastian's like, where did he go? I had him surrounded. Where did he go? Is he hiding in the corner? What? He's even going to check here. What? You can't believe it. That's funny, man. And then the archers are all the way over here. And Andy's up. And Andy's walled. He'll have some archers. And maybe you go like, I think one stable, one range, and you boom. A lot of other players would go for like crazy archer numbers or fast ballistics. Do you really want to go fast ballistics for 10 archers? maybe 12, whatever it's going to be. I don't know. Andy's a boomer or he's a siege monk pusher. And this hill, that hill has got to be tempting for someone who likes to play siege monk. Especially when you're behind, you might not want to try and boom. You might just want to kill quickly. Yeah, I agree. Really well played from Andy after being lamed. Really well played. Super smooth. Like, you wouldn't even know that he lost his Rhino. Sebastian still wondering where on earth Andy's archer army is. There goes Andy's archer army. Again, evading Sebastian. Like, Sebastian's here. If Sebastian could have actually... Ooh, that's going to be a kill. If Sebastian could have actually gone in there and he didn't see the archer army, he would know the army was coming to his base right now. But he didn't know. Now, Andy, he doesn't know a lot about Sebastian either. And he's hoping that there's just going to be palisade walls here so he could break this. That's what he sees. But then he sees the house walls behind. It really makes you think twice about trying to push this. But that's what he's going to try and do. And he goes for a siege workshop. I like this. Forward siege is tricky. There's an army in the middle of the map. Siege is good, in my opinion. You just have to hope that this army can get away from this ranged army Sebastian's going to send this way. And Sebastian just had so much time to just fortify up. So he's pretty well protected from all this. Camel for Andy gets sniped. Just our third kill of the game. And Sebastian sees this. And this is where it's like the difference between players, right? Feudal Age skirms and Sebastian just dives. Whereas if he's playing crossbow, he kills the Feudal Age skirms. He just doesn't care because his micro is so good. It'll just dive and collapse on you. And it's hard for me to suggest anything different for Andy. I mean, you got to try and move around here. You got to try and micro, but you've kind of been trapped. And Sebastian's micro just so good. And he might not even need elite skirm at this point. That's the other thing too. Why get elite skirm when the skirms that you have had have killed everything? And Andy just gives up looking at it. What Andy wanted, though, is Andy wanted siege defense and he wanted a boom, so he's still going to have that. Now it's on Sebastian to be aggressive. But it's not just aggression, right? He can also boom quite well. Again, the middle area, I actually love this map generation. These massive hills are some of my favorite maps. I'm really happy that the devs changed Arabia to have this sometimes. Because for a while there, it was like little rinky-dinky 2-tile, 3-tile hills. And they're just like, they were just bumps. It was just speed bumps as you moved around the map. Which affects fights, but it doesn't really affect position. This is position. This middle area, like, can you imagine someone having castles here? I love this. Andy's got 0 army. He has 0 wins. And hopefully a little bit more confidence than 0. Maybe like 10% confidence, 20% skill, 15% siege micro, and power of will. Oh, God. Okay, well, here comes Sebastian right through. Sebastian's right through, and Sebastian can't escape. Sebastian cannot escape. He didn't know there was siege, and boom! There he goes. That's what Andy needed. That's perfect. And so now both players have basically lost, and Sebastian's still going to be a nerd. Both players have lost most of their ranged army. I see Sebastian's actually making cav archers? What? I don't know if I've ever seen Armenian cav archers before. Sebastian did just kill a farm there. He's still getting value from this army. Are you kidding me? He's still actually getting value from this? God, Andy must be so annoyed. Bro! He's being such a nerd over here. Oh my God! He just split with 3 crossbows. Guys, Sebastian is the real deal. All right, no one can convince me otherwise. It's just crazy. Oh God, he's running underneath the TC with cav archers. Oh no! Oh jeez. Oh, that's gonna be such an annoying situation to deal with. Also parked the crossbows over here. Also dropping TCs. Also drop the fortified church. You get the free relic with the Armenians. Andy thought that he could have like this safe little boom, and it's just idle time, inefficiencies. Look bottom left now. Worker efficiency last minute, 53% for Andy. Crazy that an army gets through and the first volley is as good as it was, and then it turns into this, man. But he can do everything. And honestly, these days, this is kind of rare, right? Like Hera, for example, who's won so much over the last year or two. He doesn't really do this stuff. He just kind of booms and defends a little bit more. Now, he has the aggression in him. But I'd say, like, the nerdage that we're seeing here from Sebastian definitely has a different feel than many of the other players at the very top these days. Viper won't really do that type of stuff anymore. And I feel for Andy here. I'm not as experienced as him in tournaments, but I am experienced in getting swept. And when you're down to that final game and you're up against a better player, which again, I've experienced a lot, it just sucks to be here, right? You can just feel the level difference, and yeah, he's still playing great. He's still got a villager lead, but it's just not a fun situation to be in. Oh, man. Yeah, the Hera micro on Hippo's not the one I remember from NAC. It's the Scout micro against Doubt during the boom scenario. And then the Plumed Archers, I think against Doubt on the, whatever the big, like, Regicide Fortress one was. That was some nerdage right there. Elephant Archer Scorpion. Elephant Archer Scorpion suddenly looking pretty decent more I look at it, right? We see all the inefficiencies for Andy and all that. But again, I have to credit Andy because I remember this happening in prior games where he doesn't lose that many vills. 2 vills lost throughout all of that. Sebastian does have 5 relics, which is kind of an issue. But still, I'm fairly impressed that, things didn't get worse there for Andy, maintaining a 15 villager lead. Yeah, 5 relics is going to be a big deal if this game goes on much longer. Feels like it will get to Imp, but will it go late in Imp if one player has control of this hill? Because this is where the castle is. There's no question. The castle has to go up in this position. I think that's what Andy wants. He's even on stone out here, on top of being on stone in his base. We have skirms. We have siege. These vills need to leave, but still, heavy on stone over here for Andy. He'll clear up the crossbows there. I don't know where this scorpion's going, but he's moving. And these vills are just getting pushed away. Yeah, Andy wanted the siege and the elephants and the monks to clear up the middle, and then he could drop a castle there. But Sebastian, true to just how he's played all day, had the next step prepared, switched into the skirms, had the relics, and just has such crazy control. He's just amazing, man. It's insane. I forget what the bracket looks like. I forget who Sebastian will go up against in the semis. But whoever it is needs to be terrified of this guy, man. Now, it's an interesting tournament because basically everyone who's in the semis has been an underdog at one point. So it's going to be Sito, apparently. Sito beat Hera 4-3 and was up against Hera 3-1. So, like, should Sito, who beat Hera, be worried when Hera's so good? I think Sito's going to be happy, going to like his chances, but I think Sebastian's, like, playing maybe the best Age of Empires in the world right now in Arabia, and I mean it. I don't know if there's anyone better than him on standard land maps. Warlords was obviously mixed. That was a bit different. Showing my Sebastian fanboy is showing, but he's just incredible. And TC here in jeopardy. Sebastian sees that castle. I mean, when you see a castle has to be placed there as he micros down the siege. When you see that castle, you say, okay, Trebor it is. That's kind of what you're hoping for anyways. Actually keeps the siege alive because the monks are on the way. Castle's not up yet. Oh, poor Andy, man. Poor Andy. Andy played great. Andy actually had a really solid performance. I don't think his level was below what he brought against Tato. Genuinely. Didn't cast those games, so I wasn't quite as focused on them as I was here. But I did watch most of them. It is just a bad matchup stylistically for him. And Sebastian is insane. And this castle will go up here for FreakinAndy, who mixes in the Shravamshas. And he's gonna complete that. But in the end, Sebastian's on his way to Imp. Sebastian has a castle here, and it might not stop there. He might actually just drop a second. Yep. Composite bowmen are kind of a weird unit here, right? They ignore armor, but I don't think they ignore the shield or whatever this thing, the dodge. It's so... I don't know if there's anything in this game that bothers me more than the fact it's called a dodge and it's not dodging. I've said this 100 times. You guys know this. It's so weird. Anyways. So I don't know if the composite bowmen are really that good against it. What are good against it would be pikes. And he's going to go for pikes now. And oh, Sebastian might not complete this castle, actually. Andy's coming, guys. Andy's coming. He's bringing armored elephants. His castle has bodkin. I think Sebastian's will be denied. I'm surprised Sebastian's continuing to build his. Then again, it'll be close. Oh, it's going to be super close. I think this is a doubt castle for Sebastian, though. If Andy focuses on the vills. 90%? 91%? 92%? I don't think you can complete that yet. But this is a smart move. Delay this for now. Drop your own castle behind this. Andy's going to try and wall this up. But when Andy sees his opponent is an imp with this hill, well, he knows he needs to take the castles out. That's the only way he wins, is by using these armored elephants. And kind of an interesting thing is that the armored elephants do also do additional bonus damage against buildings for the Gujaras. So it is stronger than armored elephants for, say, like Bengalis. But you are thrusting uphill, which is not how I would suggest one thrust with their elephants. And there is going to be another castle, and there's going to be pikes. So it still feels like this castle with some repairs and some support will probably stay up. We'll see. Andy is fighting for his tournament life here in the quarterfinal. He does not want to give this up. The elephants are pretty insane. There will be some vills coming to repair, I think. Actually, no. The castle's down. Crazy. More vills coming this way. Oh, they could still build. They could still kind of build. 94%. 95%. 95.25%. But, I mean, what happens? Even if you lose... Even if Sebastian loses this castle... He still makes trebs from this castle and takes both these castles down. And, like, Halb's Skirmisher is still incredibly strong. He has all 5 relics plus the relic he started with for free. That's how you know it's a dominant position, when you can lose 2 castles, basically, and still win the game. All that map control was so good. And again, a ruthless mentality on how to treat the situation. Has all these advantages to work with. Still stonewalls. Still stonewalls that side. Just to make sure he doesn't raid. Just to make sure... just to be certain that Andy doesn't have that opportunity. And that's how Andy's going to try and come back into the game. We say it all the time, right? If someone has a position that you can't fight, you try and hit them somewhere else, right? That's what Andy will try now with the Shravamshas. Meanwhile, maybe try and mass up some units. If Sebastian's distracted, maybe he overextends. Here, though, I feel like it's worth it for Sebastian. You can take the repair vills, take the siege, then back away. Shravamsha's still Shravamsha-ing. Still running around. And the third trep now for Sebastian on the hill. I want to see champion, but I think the GG will be coming in any moment now. It'd be pretty fun to see the champs for the Armenians. He's certainly going to have the resources to do whatever he wants here. The castle's going up in his base to protect from raids eventually. Castle going up over here for the extra gold, which he can see and is aware of. And he finally takes out the castle here. And then he can take control of the stone. Then he can treb down the next castle. And he's still in Castle Age. And he would have called it if it was game one. The sweep just looks bad. But guys, Age of Empires community is pretty good with this. Even if someone has a stinker of a game, you know, you don't want to be a jerk about it, right? Unfortunately, some people can be. I would just like to restate, I don't think Andy's had a bad series. I think strategically, I think games 1 through 3 especially, he had a really good outlook on how to approach Sebastian. But Sebastian is just a bad matchup for him, and Sebastian is on a higher level, straight up. So this 4-0 shouldn't be... It feels bad, it looks bad on the stats and whatnot, but it doesn't mean, in my opinion, that Andy had a bad approach. Just sometimes you just run into a beast, and your best isn't enough. And, you know, maybe the other thing is, Andy will say, well, this wasn't my best. You know, maybe Andy feel like he could have played certain aspects better, but the best players feel inevitable, and Sebastian feels inevitable right now, man. I'm excited to see what Sito throws at him. Sito against Sebastian is a completely different... it's a completely different matchup, because Sito is really aggressive too. So that series should be different in that aspect. That's what Sito had to use to beat Hera, right? Was that aggression and the map control. Where's the Imp TC? Well, he chose this TC. Is this Imp into GG? He does have a lot of skirms. He's losing all of his buildings. This is where getting Faraders... And yeah, he's getting the champion techs. It would be really good. 100 HP champions would be amazing here. Imp into GG. Well, still fighting here, Andy. He's going to get his techs. Maybe thinking skirmisher hand cannon could do it. There's Faraders now. And so the champions that have yet to come out will have 100 HP. Now, those things are tough to stop. Sebastian sees the whole map. There's no surprises. There's no mistakes. The balance is perfect. The techs are perfect. I mean, it's just a really good spot. And also, elite composite bowmen are actually not awful against skirms, because the skirm armor is ignored. So the skirms actually die pretty fast to them. So for like all the archers out there, it's one of the better ones against skirmisher. You micro that elephant, Andy. You dodge with that elephant. You need that elephant to be the real hero here. Go! Go! You could do it! Nope. Skirms will go down. TC will go down. GG's called, and FreakinAndy. Still a great performance. He's not known as an Arabia player. He beat Tato in the round of 16. He was thrilled about that. Really happy for him, but his road ends here. And he had to make way for Sebastian today. Sebastian's just so freaking good at the game. Sebastian will be in the semifinals, and we're going to review here at the tail end for YouTube the some of the results that happened in this tournament, mainly because I missed the earlier sets because of illness. So quickly though, just be satisfied, let's just look at the resources collected. 6 relics, more of every resource. The kills, whatever, they were fine. It wasn't a big deal. Always felt like he had so much control there. But yeah, we'll let's quickly go and just remind everyone what the bracket looks like now, including the earlier series. So spoilers for those that are watching who didn't see the earlier series. Just remember the road as well that the players took. Upper part of the bracket, we obviously just have our answer. You see Sebastian, he moves on. He's going to be facing Sito. Sito, player who beat Doubt, then beat Hera to get to the semis. What a crazy run from him. He'll be looking to prepare for Sebastian's aggression. Barles went through ACCM, then Mihai, but Mihai beat Viper. But it's going to be Barles against Vinchester in this one, and Vinchester, of course, he beat MBL. He then beat Vivi, amongst others. So the final four in this tournament, Sito, Sebastian, Barles, Vinchester. And I think the only one there who's won an S-tier tournament would be Vinchester. I think this tournament's technically A-tier in terms of how they view it, because I think it's like 30K now to be S-tier. But honestly, 20K should be the standard. 20K is insane. So, like, Barles, Sito, Sebastian have never won a tournament of that magnitude before. They're really going to be licking their lips for that. So, excited for the final and to see where things go. And obviously, I will be casting both of them because I was able to stay pretty healthy today. So,